Hello and welcome. My name is Edseth-Griffin, and this is the first video I'm recording for this channel, which is exciting, but it also means I'm going to be a little awkward at first. I'm still getting used to being in front of a camera. So, if it is a little awkward, please bear with me. What we're going to be talking about today is me and this channel. I'm just going to introduce myself, orient you to this channel, why I made it, who I am, what kind of content you can find here, etc. This channel itself is also called Raiden Edseth-Griffin, and that's because it's basically just a way for me to talk about whatever topic suits my fancy, which means most of the time I'll be talking about restorative justice. If you don't know what that is, you aren't alone. It's sort of a complicated thing to explain, so by the time you're watching this video, there will already be another one up on this channel where I go into that topic in more detail. But I'll give you the hook right here. If you've felt at any point in your life that the way our culture treats people and crime and justice just isn't right, then you'll want to hear what I have to say. You can find the series where I'll be talking about restorative justice stuff in the playlist called Restorative Living. It's also where the bulk of this channel's content will be. On that playlist, I'll be talking about restorative justice principles and practices, how it can be used in your daily life, how RJ applies to different discourses in our culture, stories from my work, anything else I can think of that falls under the restorative living umbrella. You might be wondering why you should listen to what this guy has to say about restorative justice, and I think that's an excellent question. I don't exactly look like Fania Davis. To answer that question, I'd like to tell you a story. The story of how I came to be in front of this camera today. I was introduced to restorative justice in my sophomore year of high school, which would have been the fall of 2018. I had just moved to a new school after having a pretty difficult first year at a bigger high school. My new school was much smaller, about 50 students, and it claimed to be restorative. I didn't know what this meant at first, but I learned pretty quick after I joined a club called Circle Keepers. Circle Keepers is where I met some of my greatest friends and mentors in my life, and where I found some real direction and purpose. And that's not the kind of thing everybody gets, especially as early as age 16. So I really jumped on it. I had never given so much of a shit about going to school before, or probably since. After I graduated from that school in 2021, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. So I decided to take some time and figure that out before I blew a bunch of money on college. I was lucky enough to receive a phone call in the October following my graduation, I think it was, from the executive director of the school, who told me that the school social worker, who was heavily involved in Circle Keepers, was going to be leaving to take her dream job. And I wasn't a social worker, but I knew an opportunity when I saw one. I ended up working at that school for 2 years. At first, just helping out with the club, but eventually moving up to being their primary RJ coordinator. And I could tell, even then, that this was what I was meant to do. I could really feel it. And not only that, but I was pretty good at it, and I felt like the world needed it. So naturally, I left. I went to college to study social work. I did this because I wanted to gain more knowledge and skills that I felt I needed to do this work at a higher level. And in my time as a college student, I think I've definitely gained that knowledge and those skills that I was looking for. So, with my senior year on the horizon, I thought now would be a good time to start to establish myself in the wider world of restorative justice. And just like that, here we are. I chose YouTube as the platform for this project, not because I have some great talent for content creation, but because I watch a lot of YouTube, and I think I have some taste, if maybe not quite the skill to pull it off yet, but I know the kinds of videos at least I like to watch, and so I want to make more of them. Also, I don't plan on this channel popping off in any major way. This is really just an opportunity for me to stretch and flex my RJ muscles and have something to point to when people ask me, "What do you do?" It's important to me to note that I'm not an expert with decades of experience in this work, but I do tend to be at least a local authority on the subject when the average level of RJ knowledge is lower. Knowing this about myself, I think I'm actually a pretty good candidate to teach you, the less informed public, about this thing that I think you'll really appreciate having in your life. And we can even do some learning together. Maybe someday we can even get some genuine experts in here for like a discussion type video. That could be cool. At the end of the day, though, only you can decide if this channel is worth your time. So, I implore you, go check out the other videos I already have up. If they're not something you're into, then you don't have to watch any more of them. That's fine. And I think that's it for the first video. Thank you for watching. Please go watch more. You've been a lovely audience.